And Daniel, you mentioned Leonard Cohen. Leonard Cohen reached out to one of your friends
Yes,
and a
one of our
cantor in
colleagues.
Montreal,
Yep.
Gideon Zelermyer,
That's right.
and invited him to be part of the last album that he recorded,
There was
the
a
title
song,
track.
yeah, a song that with the choir and the Sharshamayim choir.
You Want It
also.
Darker.
You Want
Yeah.
It Darker, which was the title track and came out just a few weeks after he died in
Correct, which
2016.
won a Grammy Award.
Yeah.
And
And the choir won a Grammy Award.
they
And
did,
Gideon won a
and
Grammy
so
Award.
to win a Grammy,
Yeah.
sadly losing Leonard Cohen, but to win a
Yeah.
Grammy must have been wonderful.
I think it's you know what? I think it's a big pat in the back after you work so hard for so long. And I was gonna, while we were discussing this, one thing came in my mind when you talked about what do we do, to bring these people back. And I can tell you that when we have a service at the synagogue, let's say for a communion, for a bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, or a wedding or whatever it is, you sing. You sing, you bring people to tears, or you bring so much joy. And right after, we all congregate together at the luncheon, and everybody's like back and forth, hugging each other, talking to each other, saying how wonderful it was, and everybody's, the accolades are all like, what a beautiful feeling. I love listening to you sing. And then when you say to yourself, the first thing that pops into your mind is, wow, they love the whole atmosphere, they love the whole concept, they love the interaction between the rabbi and the cantor and the whole atmosphere. Why don't they come back? But then I understood something. They want you to be there when they need you. They want to come to the synagogue and know that you're there. They don't have to come every week, but when they need you, they want you there. So they pay their dues, they pay whatever they have to do because they want you there. And when I'm free and I'm available, I will come and I want to hear you again. This is like like half satisfaction. I'm very satisfied that they're going to still come and listen to you. And when they do come, they're going to be happy. But they're not there all the time. And we have to be patient. I think as cantors, as clergy, we have to be patient. And this documentary really picks up because Evan really and Marvin, they really looked at all these little aspects and dug a little bit deeper into our, subconscious, and dug a little deeper for us to say what we want people to hear. And what I want people to hear right now is that, yes, less people on the pews, but more people in the community. They know about us, they hear about us, they give us accolades, and they say they love us, they love when we sing, but they'll come back because you get older. Then after that, you lose a parent, you come back to the synagogue so you can pray for your parent, and then you get hooked. And then you know what? Time goes on and then it gives us time. It gives us, the clergy, time to rejuvenate, to think of different ways of attracting more and more people, more young people, and get them to get involved. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So people are seeing the dark side.
Tom, I just wanted to mention something about Leonard Cohen, which I think is such a primary example of people and their origin and their roots. Leonard Cohen grew up in Montreal. His family had a long-standing membership. His grandfather and great-grandfather were presidents of the Sharshamayim synagogue in Montreal. When Leonard grew up, he studied poetry in McGill, and then he went into his world of music. He lived in Greece, and then he lived in Europe, many places. Leonard was a man of various philosophies in life, and although he was brought up in the world of Judaism, he looked at other religions as well. He looked at the Buddhist religion and other ways of looking at life. But what makes it so interesting is that here's a man in the last stages of his life who was already confronted by illness, reached out to the place of his youth, to the synagogue he grew up with, to connect with a cantor who was there at that synagogue to reestablish those roots, because I believe that the finality of his life and that finite aspect of he knew of his mortality, that it was important for him to connect, to make this one final contribution in his life and combine it with his place of upbringing and that house of religious worship and that choir to signify this a very important part in his life.
And so that works perfectly as a segue into what you talked about. And then of course, he's in that song, You Want It Darker, Gideon sings Hineni. And Hineni is?
Hineni means here I am.
Here I am.
That you sing
this
when?
Is something, this is
Hineni,
something, yeah.
contextualize Hineni.
Hineni is usually, we sing it at the High Holy Days again. The cantor, interestingly, the whole, there's a script that if you want to really go into it, the script is that the cantor is supposed to go up while singing, he's supposed to go up to the stage and start singing. At the certain part, it's called the Musaf, which is the pinnacle of the prayer. And the words are Hineni. Hineni he ani mima'ash. Here I am, a poor individual, riddled with faults and imperfections, and I'm here asking you, God, to listen to my prayer as their representatives. It's a very powerful song. It's a very powerful liturgy. And while walking, we're saying to people, Hineni, here I am. And then you go up the steps, and then you start the prayer.
And that's the choir, and that's Gideon in the background of You Want It Darker of that song. The end of the song, him chanting Hineni, singing Hineni.
So Leonard Cohen is saying, Hineni, here I am.